What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another stimulus update. Today we have some more good news regarding stimulus, but I just want to come out here and give you a heads up on what is currently going on. First, stimulus checks, okay? I know a lot of people are asking about stimulus checks, so I want to put this in the beginning of this video. Stimulus checks right now are not even being considered in this stimulus package. In this $908 billion stimulus package that we could see probably tomorrow, there's no stimulus checks. They are not even being considered at this time for Democrats or Republicans. They're not even being considered, okay? Just want to put that out there. I'm going to explain why in a minute, but I just wanted to kind of tell you what's currently being said, because I know a lot of people are asking, wondering what's going on. I've said this before. I'm going to continue to say it. Joe Biden is pushing for stimulus checks in 2021. Right now, Nancy Pelosi is hoping that the 2 senator seats up for grabs in Georgia go to Democrats. If they do, they're going to have more leverage to get stimulus checks and a larger stimulus package come January. So right now, that's what's currently being reported. According to multiple reports from multiple lawmakers that wrote the bill, they are saying that after speaking with many Republicans and Democrats, both in the House and the Senate, they are saying that stimulus checks were just not feasible at this time in order to get stimulus passed before the end of the year. So right now, lawmakers are looking at the entire scope of the package as opposed to just providing relief to individuals. Again, whether that's right or wrong, that's what they're doing. I know this is going to be tough to hear for many people, but just know that stimulus checks are still being considered for the next stimulus package. Not this one, the next one. And that package will most likely come sometime in January or possibly February. So right now, just keep that in mind, that there's going to be another stimulus package, but when it comes, we just don't know. Right now, Congress is looking at this package as a COVID relief package, not as a stimulus package. They wanted to make that clear that this is not going to be a stimulus package. This is mainly for COVID relief. Okay? So just keep that in mind as we kind of go through this report. And this is why the greatest form of stimulus is currently being left out, is simply because this is a COVID relief package, not a stimulus package. So, Republican Senator Bill Cassidy said, and I quote, "This is not a stimulus bill, but a relief bill. There may be a stimulus check, but that would be part of a different piece of legislation." So he kind of just opened up, the door and kind of gave us a glimpse as to what's going on. Is he saying this is a COVID relief bill, not a stimulus package or a stimulus bill? So now, that is not the good news, obviously, but at least it is some clarity as to why stimulus checks are not being included. Now, even though I understand why they're not being included, I still think they should be, and they're leaving out millions and millions of Americans that will not see any form of relief. They won't see any rental assistance, they won't see food assistance, they won't see any unemployment checks. They're not going to see anything. They won't get PPP funding, so there's absolutely nothing in this bill for many millions of Americans. Now, according to Democratic Senator Mark Warner of Virginia, who is one of the people that helped write this bipartisan bill, he said this morning, and I quote, "I think we have got the top line numbers down. We are working right now on language so that we can have, as early as tomorrow, a piece of legislation." So again, this bill, based on all reports, is coming out tomorrow. Right now, that $908 billion proposal, okay? I even have it written down. I've written it down on paper, written it down in a PDF, on a whiteboard. I have it written down in multiple places because I turn to this every single time and wonder, why is there no stimulus checks? It's leaving out millions and millions of Americans. But he says this bill is coming out tomorrow, so it will come out on Monday. Now, for the last few days, many people, myself included, many Democrats and Republicans have wondered if both President Trump and Mitch McConnell would support this $908 billion stimulus package or COVID relief package. I'm going to continue to call it a stimulus package because let's look into it a little bit. There's $45 billion for transportation industries. Not all that is going to be for COVID losses. Some of that is going to be for stimulus. Let's see, student loan relief. Some of that will be for COVID relief. Lender support, not really sure exactly what that is. Childcare, that will be some form of COVID relief. As far as state and local governments, there's $160 billion here. That would be for COVID relief. However, once you get up a little bit higher than that, too much more, then it's going to be looking like it's stimulus. Unemployment, I get that. Education, again, that is a COVID relief package. PPP funding, again, that is a COVID relief package, but some people argue that PPP funding for small businesses is still considered stimulus because it will stimulate the economy. That's what stimulus does. The goal is to stimulate the economy and get it propped back up again. So whether this is going to be a technically COVID relief bill or a stimulus package, I'm going to continue to call it a stimulus package because honestly, that's kind of what it's looking like. Now, many people have been wondering about whether President Trump and Mitch McConnell would support this bill. Well, according to Senator Bill Cassidy, President Trump has indicated that he would sign a $908 billion package. There's only one $908 billion package out there, and it's ours. The pain of the American people is driving this, and I'm optimistic that both of those leaders will come on board. So, right now, it is just about getting the final touches done on this bill before this week. This is the week that there is supposed to be a deadline. I reported yesterday, and I also talked about this earlier this morning, is that there is a high possibility that this stimulus package that is going to be attached to the government funding bill will actually be pushed back until December 18th as a new deadline. And I said this because, according to Bloomberg, right now, many people are worried that we will not have we will not have an agreement on the government funding bill until after the deadline expires. So in order to kind of get through this deadline, what Congress wants to do is provide a 1-week stopgap bill, which will push the deadline back 1 week. Now, whether this happens or not, we will find out this week. Most likely it will come sometime probably Wednesday or Thursday. They should know and have a good idea of how close they're getting. But right now, there's hundreds of policy issues in the government funding bill. So in order to attach this stimulus or COVID relief package to it, there has to be agreement on that government funding bill first. And right now, according to reports, this weekend saw very little movement on agreements for this bill. So right now, it's just about getting the final touches done on both of these bills, combining them together, and then passing them as one. But what exactly is in this $908 billion COVID relief bill? All right, we know this is going to be a 4-month relief package. This is what everyone is saying. This is just going to get us through to the spring, which is technically the first week of April, is pretty much when this bill goes through. So we'll have December, January, February, March, and it'll take us into April. The good thing about that is what many experts are saying, many health experts are saying, even Dr. Fauci, not saying he's not a health expert, but Dr. Fauci's been saying this, many health experts have reiterated this exact same thing, is that the winter is going to be the worst months of this pandemic. It's just going to be that way because everyone's cooped up, stuck inside. So the best thing we can do is get outside. But the problem is it's cold in the majority of the country. So until this spring, when things start to warm up a little bit, which will hopefully be April, then that's when the case count will come down. So right now it's going to be a 4-month relief package. We know that neither party is extremely happy with this package, but they will compromise for the sake of the American people, according to reports. That's what they're saying. And again, if it was for the good of the American people, this should have been done months ago. Not now, not this week. I'm glad it's coming now. It's sooner than later, but it should have been done months ago. So, and we know, based on all reports, this will not be the final stimulus package. Both Republicans and Democrats have said this multiple times. Joe Biden is requesting more stimulus. He's requesting more, and he said he will fight for it. Now, what we know is that both Republicans and Democrats say this will not be the end, but this will be enough to get us through and create a bridge to get us to the next administration and into the spring. So, this is what we know. But what is in this bill? According to Senator Mark Warner, these are the exact words that he had this morning as to what will be included into this relief package. And I quote, "It will give targeted relief for the unemployed, for people in food insecurity, rental assistance, small businesses that have run out of their PPP funds, and additional funds to those minority businesses that have been extraordinarily hit hard. We put additional assistance in finally for broadband, which we know is an academic necessity, and additional dollars around the vaccine distribution and assistance for hospitals." So, give you an idea, break that down a little bit more. This stimulus proposal will include $300 a week in enhanced federal unemployment benefits, and that will go on for 4 months. It will be, we don't know about retroactive payments yet. That will come out as soon as this bill is released. Then we'll have an idea as how much retroactive stimulus or unemployment benefits we will receive. But it's a 4-month package, which means chances of going back to November 1st and go November 1st. So we got all November, December, January, February is not looking likely. It will most likely only go back to December 1st. It will be all of December, January, February, March. Then again, expires on April 1st. So that's what we know is going to be included. There'll be a continued pause on student loan payments. Again, my guess is it's going to be for additional 4 months, but that could be, again, I don't know yet. It's just my guess. When everyone says it's a 4-month stimulus or COVID relief package, my assumption is all these things will go for 4 months. There'll also be another eviction moratorium. Again, my guess is 4 months. Right now, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac have said they will not do any foreclosures. They will not do any of that stuff until the end of January. So right now that could be pushed back as well. There's going to be another round of PPP, like we've already said, $16 billion for vaccine development and distribution, as well as more COVID testing and tracing, as well as many other relief measures as well, like food assistance, rental assistance, things like that. So there's a decent amount of stuff in this proposal. There's a decent amount of stuff in this bill, but the problem is with all of this is, again, there's no stimulus checks. It's not there. There's no stimulus checks. And that's a big issue for many Americans. And what reports are indicating right now is that there are 2 main issues that we are facing with this report, or this bill. Okay, it's happening right now, and lawmakers are having a tough time coming to some type of agreement. And based on one of the reports, is they're saying that they are breaking up into groups to try to hammer out the rest of the details. So right now, who knows if we see something tomorrow, but all indications say we will. But I'm just hoping it will be a complete bill and there won't be things missing other than stimulus checks, because right now we know it's probably not going to happen. So don't bash me because I'm giving you this news. That's just what's out there. I don't want to lie to you and say stimulus checks are coming. This is just what we know. I want to report the facts. But the 2 main issues right now is that Republicans are demanding liability protections for businesses and worker protections. And this is something that there's a holdup on as to how can this be written in the correct way to provide relief for those businesses, but not to bail out businesses that just blatantly did have a disregard to safety. So that is one of the issues, and Democrats are pushing against this. And then Democrats demand more state and local government funding. But this is also one of those things that I've said before. Right now it's $160 billion for state and local government funding. Mitch McConnell and Steve Mnuchin have said before that there's about $250 billion in losses. That's an estimate, but $250 billion in losses for state and local governments due to COVID. Well, they're not even offering that much for it. So right now, I do think Nancy Pelosi is going to try to get more, try to get at least 250, possibly 300 billion, but I don't see Republicans jumping up about $90 billion just for state and local government funding unless they get the liability protections written in the way they want it written. And that's where I think Democrats are going to, they might not go for it. So again, just understand things could completely fall apart, but it looks like we will see a new bill tomorrow. Now, right now there's still hope that this deal gets done before the end of the year. Many people are currently saying that Congress will not leave Washington until a deal is done. So this is something that's positive to look forward to, that Congress will stay in Washington to get a deal done. And I understand that a lack of stimulus, and specifically stimulus checks, is going to have many people upset. But remember, they could still come back and provide stimulus checks at some point. It just will not be in this stimulus package. And they're just trying to provide relief to the majority of Americans in whatever way they see possible at this point by attaching this bill to the government funding bill before December 11th and definitely by December 18th. That will be the end cutoff date. If something doesn't happen by December 18th, Congress will go on recess for pretty much their winter break, and they will come back most likely on January 6th. So that's not good. We don't want that to happen. We just want to see some form of stimulus done now. So that's what we know right now. As I know more, I promise I'll come back and share more. Consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on regarding stimulus and regarding COVID. And feel free to share this video with your friends, family, and coworkers over on Facebook as well, so they too can stay updated as well. So again, I just want to thank you guys for watching today's video. Have a wonderful Sunday, and I'll see you guys on the next one.